Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about creatine and essentially its uses and why people take it in the first place. Just a reminder, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a chemist, nor do I pretend to be either, and this video is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. I also do not encourage the use of any substances, legal or illegal. So, creatine, or creatine monohydrate more specifically, because the other versions aren't as well studied, is an extremely well studied supplement. It has been reviewed by so many. It is probably the most well researched chemical, besides maybe protein, for supplementation. I believe actually it might be more research than protein, simply because protein we can get from foods, but creatine, although we can get it from foods, it's very hard to get the amounts that would otherwise be needed in supplementation form. And so there's a lot of myths about protein, and that's essentially what I'm going to be addressing today. One of them is that it causes kidney problems. Now, it can essentially cause the marker that shows if you're having kidney problems to raise artificially. And so that's one thing that came about kind of in the 90s and the 80s when they saw that people taking creatine were having high markers of creatinine, I believe it was, because creatine shows up as creatinine in blood work. And so people thought people were having kidney problems. So naturally, that's not necessarily true. Obviously, we can't be 100% certain, but we do relatively know that creatine is at least relatively safe. Obviously, talk to your doctor. And I wouldn't recommend anybody with kidney issues use creatine. It's just something theoretical. It also could have hair loss effects, but that would more so be a potential for DHT. And what I mean by that is it might increase the amount of DHT that's produced in the body. There's no scientific consensus on this by any stretch of the imagination. And I just want people to know that the fact of the matter is it easily could just be one study that kind of misled a bunch of people. I haven't delved into the research on that specifically, so I'm mainly going to talk about other things with creatine. Other things with creatine that are extremely beneficial are its ATP replenishment, which is why sprinters and people who need short bursts of energy, like powerlifters and strongmen and other sports, even just bodybuilders, will use this supplement to help them essentially replenish their ATP faster, making their rest time shorter, and being better in the gym. So it's pretty much considered just generally safe amongst doctors. It's not typically seen as dangerous or harmful. I've heard a lot of gym teachers say that it was harmful, but that was mainly from the kind of scare of the 80s and 90s when it was showing to raise creatinine artificially and not actually be raising creatinine, because it just shows up as creatinine in blood work. So I would encourage people to look at that themselves. Another factor is that some people get stomach upset, but it is typically not even noted to cause that. Anything can cause stomach upset. So, certain types of water can cause stomach upset. So that is, again, a relatively basic side effect. But the one that is consistently shown as a side effect is weight gain. And the reason being is because creatine can make you hold more water in your system, which typically for people is a benefit because it means they're more hydrated and therefore can use their water more efficiently, and they can get extracellular hydration more efficient, bigger pumps in the gym potentially, not nearly as much as something like an L-citrulline might do. But either way, creatine's fascinating in its effects. It's extremely beneficial. It's shown to have a great efficacy. The only thing that I would note is that creatine doesn't work for everybody, because it's shown that about, I think, 20 to 30% of the population, if I'm remembering that statistic correctly, does not respond to creatine. At one point, I thought I was part of this group. I'm not entirely sure. I've never noticed like a huge, steep incline in performance when I start taking creatine versus don't, so I may be in a non-responders group. But overall, creatine is relatively safe, and the vast majority of people will notice a decent amount of benefits from it. It also has shown to have some good effects at helping people with certain types of brain damage recover, and also people who are sedentary from an injury, maybe they hurt their knee or something, maintain the muscle that they do have. And again, part of the reason that creatine supplementation even matters in the first place at all is because you can't necessarily get all the creatine you need from food. You probably could, but it would be extremely difficult, so most people just choose to supplement it because they don't want to eat like a bunch of steak. But that's going to be it for my video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and if you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button. Please help this video get recommended to others, share it, do whatever you want to do. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, keep those shoulders back and down while you lift, and I hope you have a good one.